and welcome to Faith Works Designs. I'm Faith, and today we're doing another exciting collaboration with K&A Custom Fabrics. Now, it has been a hot minute since we've had a new pattern, just because we've all been busy trying to do our separate businesses. And so I am so excited that it's starting again with Stranger Things. I don't know about you guys, but I have been waiting. It has taken a hot minute for them to finally get the next season ready to go. So we've had this pattern, y'all, for like 2 years, something stupid like that. We've had it for a while, waiting for it to come out. So in the video, there's going to be one spot where I kind of made a boo-boo, but in my defense, it's been a hot minute. But you're going to be fine. I've got Editing Faith is going to take care of you. In the front, we have a little screen here that is going to allow you to have one of those pin boards on the inside so that you can kind of keep all of your like memento pin things. And on the bottom, we just have the Hawkins so that it looks like you're just putting the VHS inside. And I just think it looks really cute. We did it in a book bag style. The sides, because I know somebody's going to ask, the side connector where the zipper and the bottom gusset come together were too far down to do a crossbody. So we decided to do a book bag. Maybe one day we'll change it. You just have to bug us. So we've got double zippers. And on the inside, on the back, we've got a nice little slip pocket. So at least you have something to put in there if you want your little game trinkets, or you're going to take this to your D&D matches. And then on the very front, you've got your little clear piece that's going to hold your insert. You just take it and unsnap it and pull your insert out. So you've got two screens. You've got this one. Hopefully my camera is focusing on it. And then you've got this one. And so I'm just going to show you how to make this and insert it into your bag. It is binding. I'm very sorry. It was a time. You're going to learn to bind one way or another. I'm going to make you learn. Alright, let's get started. So we have got our roll. This is going to be your outer panel. You're going to have your front, your back, your bottom gusset, your zipper gusset, and then your D-ring connectors. We have got our lining. You're going to have your screen to go inside and all that jazz. And then you're going to have your screen and then your back panel to kind of put your screen into. Okay, first things first, what I'm going to need to do is I'm going to need to take this, cut it out, and interface it. You can go ahead and cut out that piece right there and you'll be fine. Then what you're going to need to do, did you guys know that you can iron the waterproof canvas from K&A Custom Fabrics? If you didn't, now you do. Just do it on low heat and you're good to go. So I'm going to go interface my pieces, I'm going to go iron this out, and then I'm going to use my outer pieces as a template for my lining pieces. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but the lining pieces have been spot on with the outer pieces. I just want to make sure that they're just right, so I'm going to take them and use them as a template. Alright, let me go do that. Alright, so we're going to start with some simple, easier things. Let's grab our D-ring connectors. We're going to turn them over and interface them with a piece of Decaville Light that was 3/4 tall by 3 inches wide. And then we're going to put a center mark down the length of both of them, and then you would add a piece of double-sided tape down the center. You guys know the drill. You put one side down and then put the other side down, and then you're going to sew down this side and back up the other. So I'm going to take these to the sewing machine while we work on our zipper gusset. So I'm going to grab my zipper gusset and I'm going to take my zipper. I'm going to take some zipper that kind of looks good together, and I'm going to cut them to the length of each other. I just happen to have this zipper left over from something else. So now what we're going to do is right sides together. We're going to clip these together all the way down. Once you put and clip them together, the next thing you're going to do is grab your lining piece, and you're going to put your lining right side to the wrong side of your zipper and just add that to your sandwich. You could go ahead and base stitch your zipper on. That's fine, it's up to you. But I'm just going to go ahead and do it at one time, and it's no big deal. Alright, now we're going to go to the sewing machine, and 1/4 inch we're going to sew down that edge. Alright, so I have got a 4-stitch length, I've got my D-ring connectors. I'm going to go ahead and 1/4 inch or so sew down each side. Did I say I've got a 12 needle in? Can't remember. It depends on what machine you have and then what materials you use, what size needle you're going to need. For my machine, a 12 works best with K&A's vinyl. So there it is, all done. So I'm going to finish this other one and then we'll do the zipper gusset. Alright, now I've got a 3-stitch length and we're going 1/4 of an inch from the edge. Alright, now that you've got all of those sewn together, the next thing you're going to do is pull your lining and your outer panel away from your zipper so that they're together. Then we're going to switch our stitch length to a 4. And then we're just going to base down each side and then top stitch down our zipper. Alright, we've already got one side of our zipper gusset on. Now we need to do the same exact thing on the other side. So put right sides together and clip all the way down. Alright, once those are together, go ahead and put your other lining to the wrong side of your zipper. Just like that. Alright, now we're going to sew these together at 1/4 of an inch seam allowance. Alright, 1/4 of an inch seam allowance with a 3-stitch length. Alright, now that those are together, we're going to do the same exact thing. We're going to pull the lining away from our zipper and base stitch down the sides and top stitch down our zipper. You'll need to change your stitch length to a 4. So our zipper gusset is done. The next thing you need to do is grab your zippers. Now you can use just one if you want to. I like using 2. It just makes it nice when you're opening and closing the bag to have 2. So you put the left side on first and then the right side. And then if they're even Steven at the top, you can pull it and put it in the middle. And then do the same exact thing on the opposite side. Left side first, then the right side. Okay, that's a perfect example. If you have a little bit more zipper teeth sticking up on one side or the other, you've not done it right. You got to go pull your zipper off and try it again. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to grab our bottom gusset and our bottom gusset lining. What you're going to need to do is you're going to put right sides together, and then for your lining, put your right side of your lining to the wrong side of your zipper. And we're going to go ahead, I think, and do both ends, and then we'll take it to the sewing machine and sew them together. Okay, so again, right side of your zipper to the right side of your bottom gusset. Clip them together. And then your lining is right side to the wrong side of your zipper. Now, we're going to go to the sewing machine and that wheel. Another one bites the dust. Okay. We're going to go to the sewing machine, and on each side of our gusset, we're going to sew them together at 1/4 of an inch seam allowance. 3-stitch length, we're just going to go straight across there. With 1/4 of an inch seam allowance, if I didn't say that already. I just brought the other end up so that I can do these at the same time. Alright, our gussets are together. The next thing that I like to do is I like to base stitch my gusset lining and my gusset outer together so that when I'm going to do my binding, it just goes a lot better and it's easier to work with. So you're just going to clip both sides to your lining to your outer. So it's going to look like that, and what we're going to do is just kind of base stitch on both sides to keep those bottom gussets together. I've got a 4-stitch length. I went ahead and put my gusset right side in, and then I'm just going to base stitch along 1/8 of an inch along the edges. I am not going to be going across where the zipper, I mean, I guess I could. Yeah, why not? A while back ago, it was like law that you had to go across here and top stitch. You don't have to, guys. Don't feel obligated to have to do that. especially if you're on a domestic and things are getting thick, you can skip that. You don't have to necessarily do that. Okay, now it's going to get real hard for you guys to see. Alright, so we have got our gusset all base stitched together. It's going to work great. The next thing that I did was I put the center seams where the zipper gusset and the bottom gusset meet, and I found the center of my zipper gusset and I made a notch on both sides. Then I put them back together again and found the center of my bottom gusset and made a notch on both sides. I'm going to set that aside for right now. We're going to work on the back panel lining. So you're going to have this piece. This is going to be your slip pocket for your back panel. You could, if you wanted to, take this and make a zipper pocket. It's completely up to you. I'm going to go ahead and just do a slip pocket to make my life easier. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to fold it in half so that the length I'm folding in half, like the longer sides, I'm folding in half. And then when I go to the sewing machine, I'm going to be sewing down each side of this slip pocket. So what we're going to do is we're going to leave a hole open right here, and then we're going to start stitching from here to here, stop, back stitch, start here, back stitch, come all the way down and to the side. Alright, so I'm going to start on the one side. I've got a 3-stitch length. Making sure that I back stitched right there because that's where we're going to turn it out. So I'm lifting up my foot. I'm pulling it down a little ways. And then I'm going to back stitch right here really good. And then go down the other side. Alright, so we've left our hole to turn this right side out. I've also went ahead and clipped my corners so that when I turn it right side out, it'll lay nice and flat. I have got my rounded scissors to kind of help get those corners out. Alright, so you're going to want to take something not sharp and push those corners out. Now, straighten that up. What you're going to need to do is tuck these in 1/4 inch so that they meet up with your seam that you've got there and it won't show up later on. Alright, so I've got my clips there so that I'll know where that is. I'm going to grab my back panel, the back lining panel, and you can just center it and put it wherever you feel more comfortable. I wanted to check my mock-up real quick because you don't want it too close to the top, because if you have it too close to the top it's just going to be kind of like right there. So I've got it about 2.5 inches from the bottom of my lining, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this to the sewing machine and I'm going to start stitching from here down across and here, and that way you're closing this up and then making sure that you back stitch right here. So let's go do that. I've got a 4-stitch length and I'm just going 1/8 inch from the edge. Alright, so you've got your slip pocket. If you wanted to, you could fold this in half, and that's what I'm going to do to make myself 2 smaller slip pockets. And you can stitch right down the center and then just make it so that you have 2, or you can leave it open as 1. It's up to you. I'm going to go stitch this up real quick. Alright, our back lining is all done. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to grab the outer back panel and we're going to put these wrong side to wrong side, clip them together, take them to the sewing machine, and then I'm just going to base stitch them together. And I think we'll go ahead and do the straps and stuff first. Can you guys tell I'm trying to save the hard part for last? I don't know why I do that to myself. I should just go ahead and do it and get it over with. But that would be too easy. Okay, let's go to the sewing machine and base stitch these 2 together. I've got a 4-stitch length and I am just base stitching these 2 together at 1/8 inch around the edge. Alright, so our outer panel is base stitched to our lining. Next thing we need to do is we need to grab our D-rings and our D-ring connectors. The wrong side of our D-ring connector is the side that we flapped each side into the center. So you should see like a line there. This is going to be our wrong side. We're going to slip our D-ring onto the wrong side so that the bar is facing the wrong side of our D-ring connector, and then you're going to close it up like that. If you want to, you can base stitch this closed. It's up to you. Now from the bottom lay your panel so that it's even on your mat. And then from the very bottom of your panel, so right here, I measured up 1.5 inches and then put my D-ring connector. I've got my D-ring connector kind of on an angle because straight out just kind of looks funny. So right like that. Then do the same exact thing on the other side. We're putting that bar against the wrong side. And then we're going to measure up 1.5 inches. Alright, just like that. Now, I'm going to take that to the sewing machine and base stitch those two together. Alright, so we've got those base stitched down. The next thing I'm going to do is trim these edges from the little bits that are sticking out. I'm just going to trim those off. You could put them straight on if you wanted to. I just like the look that they have when they're a little askew. Oh, there we go. Okay. Now, we need to finish our back panel by adding our book bag straps. I've got 2 straps that are 45 inches, I believe 40 to 50 inches long. It really depends on who you're making this for, how long you want your straps to be. I have got 2 of my strap adjusters, and then you've already got your D-rings on the back of your bag. So, first things first, we need to take one of our straps, take one end of our strap, and put it through one side of our connector, then back down to the other. We're going to take and do that to both of our straps, and then we'll come back to the back of our book bag. So up through one side, down the other, boom. I'm going to clip these together, and what you're going to need to do is you're going to need to go to the sewing machine, and all you're doing is you're making a little square. That's it. You don't need to do anything fancy, especially if you're using only a 1-inch webbing. If you're using a 1.5-inch webbing, obviously your hardware is going to be different and you're going to need to do a little X on the inside, but I don't think this book bag is going to need that much weight. So I'm going to go make the little square and then we'll move on. Alright, those 2 are done. So this is what I meant. You just make a little square and it holds your strap together. Alright, I failed to mention that I folded this in half and I found the center bottom and then the center top. You're going to need that for when we put the straps in. Okay, with the part that we folded over and you've got your little edge right here, we're going to take that in without twisting it or turning it any and put it through our D-ring. Then we're going to take this in, put it up through the strap connector on the side that we folded it over, and then we're going to put it back down. Then, lining this up on our mat, again, I'm going to have mine a little askew, it's up to you. I've measured again 1.5 inches. We'll just keep it nice and simple. And there you go. And then repeat on the other side. Now we're going to go to the sewing machine and base stitch those on. Could you guys even see what I was doing? We're just going to base stitch those on. Alright, so what I did was I went ahead with a 4-stitch length and just base stitched both of these on. Then I went back and I cut that edge off and then burnt the edges. So I'm just taking my scissors, cutting that little bit off, and then burning that webbing again. Make sure that both ends of your webbing is burnt so that they won't unravel. Okay, continuing on in the theme of stalling, let's go ahead and get the gusset. Now, you've got your top gusset with your zipper gusset and your top center of your back panel. Go ahead and clip these 2 together, starting at the top center and then going down to the bottom center. Alright, now that that's all connected, let's go to the sewing machine and sew those together. Alright, I've got a 4-stitch length and I'm going to go ahead 1/4 inch all the way around. Alright, now that this is done, we're going to need some binding. I know how a lot of you guys feel about binding, but there was literally no other way that I could figure out how to do this other than binding. And I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. So I have got a 1-inch by probably 56 inches of waterproof canvas. It's up to you what you want to use. There are a gazillion ways to bind your stuff now. So many people have been trying to make it easier and easier on you guys. So they've made different materials to do it with, but we got to bind it. Sorry. Alright, so go ahead and clip this all the way around. Then we're going to go back to the sewing machine and sew our binding on. Let's go sew this up. Alright, I've got a 4-stitch length. I'm going to start at the top. And then I'm just going around again at 1/4 inch. Alright, that is all bound. Now we're going to set this aside for a minute. We're going to grab our front panel. I've gone ahead and cut out all of the white around there, and I've grabbed the clear panel that is a little larger than that. And what you're going to need to do is flip this over and grab some double-sided tape so that your clear piece will stay where you put it, just like that. And then remove the paper, and we're going to place our clear piece right in the center. If I can get the paper off. You just kind of want to get it to where it's kind of even all the way around, and then press those together. Now, set this aside. You want to grab your other lining panel and your other clear panel, and you're going to have a little line going along. I should have showed you guys. A little line going along. You just cut right on the line. And then you'll notice that there are 3 dots on your clear panel. I'm going to grab my hole punch and cut those out. Once I have all 3 of those holes cut out, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my lining panel, flip it over like this so it'll lay flat. Alright, you need to measure the very edge of your clear panel is going to be 3/4 of an inch from this edge right here on your lining. You're going to have to make sure that your edges are about the same. So you can take a ruler or a tape measure and kind of figure out if they're exactly where they need to be. And then we're going to take a marker and we're going to mark those 3 dots. Now that these 3 dots are marked, if I can find them, we're going to go need to get some snaps. And we're going to put our snaps on both our lining and our clear panel. So let me go grab those and then we'll do that. Alright, we are going to need, I need to go back to Cam Snap and buy some more snaps. All I have is white. Alright. So you're going to need 6 of your caps. Those are the ones that are going to have the little spikies on the bottom. 3 of these, and Editing Faith is going to put the names of these on there because Faith forgets. And then you're going to need the opposite ones. These are basically the female, and those the other ones are the male. So you're going to need them on each side. I'm going to refer to these so that we can get through this. These are going to be the female, and those are going to be the male. Alright, we're going to grab our clear panel, and I'm going to put my cap through one of them. Oops. And then let's do the females. Just like that. So the female side sticks out, the little cap pokes through it. You're going to need your little squishy tool. I'm going to push that through the squishy tool and then squeeze. You're going to do that for all 3 of them. I'm going to grab another cap. Make sure that you're putting your caps and your female ends all on the same sides. Your caps need to be on one side and then your females need to be on the other side. Your clear piece should look like this. You should have all the females looking up at you and all the caps on the other side. Okay, now we're going to grab this panel, and I can see some of my marks and some of them I can't. Alright, so I'm going to take my little awl, I'm going to poke it through. This time we're going to need to take the caps and poke it through the wrong side of our fabric. So the cap spike is going to come up through the right side of our fabric, and then we're going to take the male ends and put those on top. Okay. And then just go ahead and do all 3 of those the same exact way. Caps go on the wrong side, nails go on the right side. Alright, once your caps are all on, if you want to double check and make sure they snap, great, go for it. And I'm going to take my front panel and I'm going to go ahead and put these so that they're wrong sides together. And let's see, I think I might use some double-sided tape so that these kind of line up a little bit better when I go to sew them. I think I'm going to do that. Let me go grab some double-sided tape and we'll do that. I think I overkilled it with tape, but that's okay. I'd rather overkill than underkill. Alright, so I put tape all the way around. I'm just going to remove the paper. And first things first is we're going to need to line up these openings so that when you're looking into the inside of your bag, you don't see any white gaps or anything like that. Now what we're going to do, because this is pretty well stuck, is I'm going to go ahead with the outer panel looking at me. And if you see a little excess, that's okay. We can trim that up later. I'm going to go ahead 1/8 of an inch all the way around this opening. I've got a 4-stitch length, and I think, yeah, let's do that. So I went ahead and turned it around instead of sewing it like I would normally do, because I want my foot to kind of be my guide. It's really like there's just a teensy bit of space in between my foot and where this is going. Hold on. Hopefully you can see that where the needle is going to go down, it's really, really close. And this probably wasn't the best idea to put a camera in my face while I'm trying to do this, but that's okay. It's fine. It's fine. Okay. And then just go all the way around. Okay, we have the screen sewn in. I went ahead and I put the plastic, clear plastic, on the snaps so you can make sure they fit. Now, if it looks like I've already sewn this, it's because I already have. Y'all, in my defense, we made this pattern like, what, 1.5 years, 2 years ago, whenever the Stranger Things were supposed to come out. They didn't come out. So I forgot something. This bottom is wide open, y'all. And then I had to go look at my mock-up. If this tells you anything, it was back when this print came out. So however long that's been. Okay. I'm having somewhat of a mental breakdown. Okay. What we need to do, because I've already sewn everything, what we need to do is take this and turn it. And then pull our front panel up. And I'm going to grab my ruler. And we're going to do 3.5 with 1/8. Don't ask me what that measurement is right now because I cannot handle it. I don't even want to think about it. So we're going to mark right across there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this to my sewing machine just like this. And I'm going to stitch right on that line to make sure that I catch this clear piece right here. You could have done it like this, but I was afraid that it would be wonky and not right. It's up to you. If you feel more comfortable doing it this way and sewing across there, you can, but I think as far as making sure that everything's flat, I think this is the best way to do it. I think that's how I did it in my mock-up. I do not remember because it's been forever. Okay, let's go to the sewing machine and we'll stitch this down. Alright, I've got my stitch length at a 4. I'm going ahead and just starting on the outer edge, and I'm just going to go all the way across right on top of that line. So I'm not going beside it and using any kind of seam allowance. I'm just sewing right on top of it. So I'm old and I make too many patterns, so I made that big mistake. The rest of the video you will not see this panel inside of here. It will be separated. Just ignore that. Your panel should be together, so when you turn it inside out, it's going to be on the inside. You just need to be careful when you're turning it inside out that you're not like smushing it up. The zipper is big enough that it's not, I'm not worried about that, but I just wanted to show you. It gives it a really nice tight fit if you do the measurement just like I did, so that it kind of sits where it needs to, so that you see just that panel and none of the extras on the outside. Okay, we're going to go ahead and finish putting the bag together just like we were. I'm sorry guys, I'm just glad that I caught it in time to be able to, like, I just ripped the whole front of the bag off, and now I'm going to have to put it all back together for pictures, and hopefully it doesn't look too bad. Okay, take this out, and let's go ahead and base stitch all the way around the edges, and then go on with the rest. Alright, now that that was successful, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to base stitch all the way around. Our window is in. We are base stitched all the way around. Now, if it's still a little too long, what you can do is you can cut it, and or I would highly recommend this, is you're going to kind of fold it away from that plastic and just kiss those edges of that waterproof canvas just barely so that you'll melt it. That way you don't have to worry about that coming unraveled. Okay, we're almost done, y'all. Alright, so I found the center bottom and the center top on my front panel. What I'm going to do is grab the body, put them right sides together, and start clipping all the way around. Alright, I have got a 4-stitch length, and then I'm going around at 1/4 inch just like we did on the other side. Alright, that is all done, and now we just need to bind the other side and sew it together. Alright, with the stitch length still at a 4, just need to bind this other side, and we're almost done. So your front is on. Alright, open up your zippers. And it's a nice big opening, so hopefully this will go really smoothly. I didn't want you to watch me struggle, so that's what your bag is going to look like. Alright, let's set that aside. Now what we're going to need to create is our pin thing that we're going to stick down in there. So you've got you could make either side, front or back, but I had some poster board. I think I used this for another one and it was fine. If you have some cardboard cereal boxes, you could use those. It's up to you and how thick you want this to be. So I cut it out the size of my panels, and you're going to put one on one side and then take this one and flip it over and then put them together like that. Then I'm going to take it to the sewing machine and I'm going to base stitch these together, and then what you're going to do is just bind it, and then you are done. You can slip this right in the front of your bag and show off your love. And if it gets boring, you can always turn it over and show that side. Alright, let me go base stitch this together. Alright, these two are base stitched together. The next thing that I'm going to do is take some of this fold over elastic and just fold it around the edges. The kind that I have right now is super small. I think it's 5/8 or something. I don't remember the size now, but I wish I had a bigger one. Anyway, what I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap this around as I sew, and I'm going to kind of pull it around the corner so that it'll lay nice and flat like that. So let's go to the sewing machine and finish this edge off. Alright, so I have found that this goes a lot better when I sew it as I do it, so that I can pull it as taut as I need to. So I am just going to start, and then I'll just take the elastic and fold it over and do what I need to do. And then make sure that you're pulling it around those edges. Alright, it's all done, all bound, ready to go. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pop that top snap off. And then I'm just going to slide this in, and then we're going to snap it closed. And then there you go. Alright guys, so what did you think? Hopefully this was a nice, quick, easy sew. Y'all, I needed it. After this past year, if you guys have not seen yet, all of the patterns that have been coming out, I have been busting it out. I'm really glad that things are slowing down right before the holidays, so I can actually do some more sew-alongs, because this is what I've been missing being able to do. So anyway, I hope you guys liked this video. If you did, you can give it a thumbs up, or if you want to subscribe so you don't miss the other sew-alongs that are coming. You guys, it's Max. Ah! Okay, I begged for this one. I was like, it has to be a fanny pack and it has to have a tape inside. Make sure that you subscribe and you'll be able to see this video and what's on the inside. If you have any questions or comments, leave them in the comment section down below. I do check those daily. Also, before you leave, I know the video is pretty much over. Don't forget, there is merch and there will be a link down below. There are also the patterns that I have been working on so hard this year. guys, go check them out. Help support the channel, help support my small business. I'd really appreciate it. I hope you guys have been liking the patterns that have been coming out, because K&A has some really cool ones coming out pretty soon, and you don't want to miss those. Bye guys.